My first choice in my yoga toolbox for pelvic stabilization and alignment is a little series called Z poses. The reason why I love this series because it actually is allowed through little mobilizations to isolate the pelvic halves in both sagittal and transverse planes, so that we're opening up pretty much all the dimensions of the pelvis. So when we start, we want to start by kicking back one of our legs so it's resting behind us. We want the front toes to align with the front knee. If there's any tension or uncomfortableness, you might stick a little blanket or something under the hip here and let this hip be free. We're going to bring our hands to our hips. As we do that, we want to hold the hip crest, if we can, front and back of the pelvis. And then with that, we're connecting first to our breath. On our exhale, we're going to take our forefingers and tilt the pelvis back. Allow the upper body to rest and the head drop lightly. And when you're ready to inhale, we're taking our thumbs from the back and pushing the pelvis forward, allowing the chest to open and taking that opening and extension through the throat and chin gently. We're going to move back and forth, allowing the breath to initiate the movement. Exhaling, the pelvis rolls back, the head drops. We want the upper body to be passive and ride along. If you think too much about it, you're going to start leading with your upper body, and the lower body becomes disconnected. You have to remember, movement comes from the ground up, so it should travel like that through the body as well. Allowing that tailbone to tuck contracts the abdominals, and we're dropping that chin. Take a little extra to tuck the chin into the chest, and then as we inhale, we release, allowing the abdominals to open up and take that extension into the sternum, in through the throat, and gently through the chin. We're moving back and forth, keeping pace with our breath. We don't have to move fast. In fact, moving slower is better. It allows your mind to articulate on the details. And then once you notice there's a restriction, your mind auto-corrects to integrate that better. So at least a dozen times going back and forth. Again, don't race yourself. You'll get out of alignment. We want to go back and forth. And then we come to part two. We want to take that one hand of the front leg, put the hand for support on the ground, palm flat. We want to take the other hand, thumb back, forefingers forward, and we want to grab our flesh and start to roll the flesh on the bone. You can feel that flesh roll. We're going to roll that to the extreme to where we feel the hip starting to want to move and follow that movement. We're moving into a rotation, allowing that to follow through all the way to our eyes, looking behind us. On our exhale, we're going to take the flesh of our thigh and roll it back down to the earth and allow the sternum, chest, and eyes to orient back to neutral and forward. We're going to do this again 10 to a dozen times. So we first again connect to that breath leading the way. Inhale, we lift, pelvic lifts. You can watch how that movement moves up from the ground through my chest, and we take it all the way through our eyes, trying to look over the shoulder. When we use our eyes in this exercise, we're completing that whole body spiral, taking it all the way up through our nervous system. So we're going to do that again. And just again, it's not about counting, it's about getting into the movement, the sensory portion of it. And as you become more aware of how your body is moving, your body automatically makes adjustments. So once we do that a dozen times on each side, we'll switch sides. Do the same routine again. Alignment matters, and again, connecting to the breath, allowing that breath to lead. Exhale, we tilt back. Inhale, we go forward. There's a lot of things you'll start to become aware of through your body, so it's an investigation as you move. Go nice and slowly. Once we've done both sides twice, we can then come up to a standing position, and making sure our feet are hips width apart. We can hold our hands for support. We're going to march in place about 10 to 15 times. We want to march nice and slowly, making sure we bring that knee 90 degrees. And as the knee lifts, notice how that opposite foot pushes down. So your body halves and your pelvic is mimicking that lateral shifting, that bilateral shifting through the body. And then after we've done that, we should come back to the mirror, find our hip points or tops of the pelvic crest, and remeasure. And sure enough, the look more even. If at all the evenness is still off, there are probably deeper issues coming from the jaw. That's a different exploration. In the meantime, that's just going to get our pelvis open, both halves and integrated together. And if you're going to do one warm-up before anything, this is the warm-up you want to do. For more, tune back in later. Thank you.